What's up, guys? I'm playing a 10-minute rapid game. I'm going to walk you through my thought process, what I'm thinking about, why I'm playing the moves I'm playing, and let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to play the King's Indian. This is an opening that I've played before, and so I'm not going to think too much on these first couple of moves until I get to a particular spot where I'm confused. My opponent's saying hi. All right, so e5 is a threat. I don't want my knight to get chased around like that, so I'm going to play d6 so that I can capture that. And sometimes when they play bishop e2, they're getting ready to attack you over here. So I'm definitely going to think about that before I castle. And one thing that you can do is just delay it. Just delay it a few moves and make some other useful moves. So c6 is one where I might play like b5 at some point. So a6 and b5 and expand over here. But it's also just kind of a waiting move. Like, I don't need to castle right at this particular moment and can see what white is going to do. I think I might make another waiting move here. Just bring my knight to the center. Okay, I'm still feeling like white probably wants to attack me, but I think I've slowed down enough that I'm ready to go ahead and castle. Okay, so this is pretty common. I'm not really concerned about that. Looks like white's going to castle over here, so I'm going to go ahead and play a6 and get ready to play b5. Yeah, and they might just keep the king in the center. That's totally viable as well. But I'd like to play b5. I'm just wondering what happens on d5, because I don't want to get into trouble here. So let's see. I would take, they would take, I would take. That looks like it's going to open up the center. That's probably pretty good for me, honestly. And if they take back, yeah, then it unleashes the bishop. So I think I will go ahead and play b5. I don't want to sit back and do nothing and just let white throw these pawns forward and checkmate me. So trying to create some counterplay over here. The weakness of doing this, though, is that, you know, this is a weak area. And so that's why I wanted to calculate what happens on d5. Okay, they are just going to ignore me and attack. So usually the response to an attack on the flank is a counterattack in the center, especially because the king is there. So the question is, what about takes and d5? And even if I lose a pawn, it kind of opens things up. That's probably exactly what I want to do. So I'm sacrificing a pawn here, but I want to open it up, get to the king, get my bishop involved, right? If all this stuff gets traded off, then my bishop's in the game. And because I'm castled and white is not, my king's probably going to be safer than white's king at that point. So I didn't really calculate everything. You don't have time in a 10-minute game to calculate everything. Just enough to see that I'm going to get some counterplay and hopefully be able to attack the king. Yeah, so question is, do I want to trade this first or not? I don't have to. Like, I could play a move like knight b6, or I could just take it and slide the rook over here. Knight b6, takes, looks okay for me. Takes here, I don't know if I like that as much. Yeah, I'll go ahead and trade and just slide my rook over. So we have pressure here, we have pressure here. My queen's about to be involved, and I think white's king, I don't really know where white's king is going to be safe at, right? Now, of course, white can keep attacking my king, and it's a pretty interesting position. Okay, so we have the discovered attack here. I could also play a move like queen b6, try to attack here. I think I like knight b6. I just want to open up the queen, create some threats here. He stops that temporarily, so we could attack the bishop or just go for this diagonal. Bishop e6. Normally, I don't want to get double isolated pawns, but in this case, it opens up the c4 square. It opens up the rook. I'm actually considering that move. It definitely seems like it's bishop b7 or bishop e6 that I would like to play. How does white defend the pawn? Do they castle? It's kind of an annoying threat, actually. Maybe I will just go with bishop b7. Definitely the more logical move compared to bishop e6, right? But bishop e6 had some ideas. Oh, king f2. Yeah, okay, I guess I didn't think about that. All right, so how do we proceed from here is really the big question. We could jump in with one of these pieces. We could try to chase that bishop off of this annoying diagonal and maybe open up f5. It's pretty good. This move immediately would threaten f5. It's like a5, you can always play a3 and just go back there. Whereas bishop d5, you can force that bishop trade if you want. Although my bishop's not bad either. So maybe we go with the knight and try to take this. Problem with f5 then is I'm walking into this annoying pin, which I don't like. So I could play e6. Same issue though. This is very, very annoying. Yeah, I think I really do. I don't know. I'm debating if whose bishop is better, because both of these bishops actually look pretty good. So I'm really not sure about this one. Yeah, I'll go with knight d5. I guess I'll keep the bishop for now and still try to block this off, because if I can play f5 and get this f file open, super, super dangerous for the white king. All right, so that's kind of what I'm thinking about. Yeah, so like f5. I don't like the pin, but I really like getting the rook involved. I also like getting rid of that bishop too. Really a question of what do you like more? I think I want to play f5. I really, on something like knight to f4, I'm not super concerned. I've got it defended, and I can play e6 later if I need to, maybe. So we're gonna go on the offensive here. It's a risky move, right? Because of this, but I'm getting a lot in return, and I'm gonna say I think it's worth it. Could be wrong, but it just feels like I need to go after the king here. On f2, like the king shouldn't be on f2, right? So we're gonna try to take advantage of this. Yeah, it's about to get wild. I think I'm gonna just go ahead on my instinct and say that, look, there's got to be some tactics that open up for me. Maybe white's thinking the same thing, right? So, wow. All right. Okay. So I want to play e6, because then I'm threatening to just take that or take this or something. Getting out of the pin. Don't know if sacking the rook really makes sense. I could take here. I guess I could play g5 as a way to shut down the rook here. Because if you can't trade the pawn, the rook can't become involved. So maybe g5. Takes. Pretty happy with that. A fork, I'm not concerned. I don't think. Let's do it. g5 for the win here, because we've got a nice follow-up. And it shuts down the rook. The rook can never go through their own pawn, right? Even if they push this, I just move my bishop somewhere, and I'm going to probably tuck my king over here in the corner. So, feeling pretty good. I'm a little low on the clock, but white's king, I think, is in big trouble here. When my opponent's thinking, I'm trying to kind of just think through some general ideas. You know, like I could play h6 to just defend this and stop the pawn. I could take with the pawn because then I have two passed pawns. I could instead take with the rook because it's an immediate attack on the king, which I think I like better. If I move the knight then the bishop can become involved, but I can't. So maybe I want to play king h8 to get out of the pin, or e6 once the knight moves to get out of the pin so that I can use the knight. Trying to fill my brain with all these ideas so that when it's my turn, I'm ready to go. So I think I do want to start with this. Because it's a check, it gets my rook involved. It's a pretty easy move to play. And then I can now spend my time thinking on this position. Again, this is the most annoying thing about the position to me, so I feel like I need to play either e6 or king h8. I do want to just briefly consider something like this. I can't take that because of the pin. I could go check. But why? What's my follow-up? Maybe then queen here. Okay, so check. The king moves back. Yeah, I really got to get out of the pin, I think. So now I'm thinking, what's the best way to do it? E6? No, probably king h8. Probably king h8. All right, I'm going to go ahead and make that decision. Now the knight can move wherever it wants. E6 maybe was also a good move, but... And once the knight gets out of the way, it unleashes the bishop too, so you get even more tactical opportunities. The immediate threat is just obviously just taking the bishop there. White's going to do something about that probably, and then I need to figure out how to continue the attack here. Queen d6 looks like a very good attempt to get the queen involved that way. Or maybe actually check with the rook now. Very, very difficult position to play with just less than 3 minutes on the clock, because really would love to like sit down and just analyze this for 30 minutes, but you can't do it. So let's see what White's going to do. Interesting. Okay, I think I just want to move and not worry about that. Because I like the bishop here, right? So I want to keep that threat, so it doesn't really make sense to like trade those pieces off. Also, it opens up the rook, which I don't want to do. So yeah, this is serious. This is kind of serious. Even there's like a tactic where like if you defend, I just take everything and I pin the queen. So it's quite a difficult position. Okay. He's going for this. Ah, interesting move. All right. I would come out up a piece. Is it good enough? I think it is. I think it's good enough. Basically takes. I have an extra piece. So I believe I'm okay here. If I didn't miscalculate something. Very tricky position though. Because if I would have taken the other way, I just potentially get back rank mated, right? So because of the pawn here. But this way, it looks like I'm okay. I'm thinking about queen b6 as a follow-up to line up on the king. Or Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe e6 just to support here and stop this pawn to keep the diagonal closed. Because if this opens up, that's dangerous for me. But queen b6 kind of solves that problem. I guess also knight f6 could be a nice defensive move after the queen's out of the way. Yeah, so queen b6. On e6, probably queen b6. And I don't know what else white's going to play. Definitely leaning towards this one. Maybe that makes some sense too. e6, queen b6. I really like this one. I really like this one because it solves my pin problem. At the same time, creates a very serious threat. It's probably the best move. All right, we caught up on time. Okay, he's trying to stop that by going there first. Good idea. But I think I can just go here, right? Because it's defended and... Oh, does he have... Wait, does he have this move? Okay, I missed that one. Hold on. Yeah, I missed that. Man, okay. I think I missed it. Unless I can... I do have a pin, so maybe I'm fine. But I kind of didn't think that through all the way. Just don't want to get checkmated, so I'm just making sure I get my king out of there. And should be okay now. Let's see. Might actually be able to... Okay, well now we can just use our pawns here, and I think we should be in good shape. Okay, I'm gonna come... Wow. Almost messed that up at the end. I was like, wait a second. The pawns are coming down fast, but whew, crazy game. Good game to our opponent. Hopefully you guys learned something. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Maybe I'll do some more of these. Let me know if you like this kind of video. And as always, stay sharp, play smart. Take care.